Humidus Podcast.
Hello everybody, and welcome to the Humidus Podcast again. This time it's me who's hosting, Steph, and with me I have a new co-host, which is a frequent guest of the show, Dank N.
Hello.
And this time we are actually recording, which is great. So, do you want to explain why the Hammer is not here?
Yeah, well, I guess his significant other has given birth to the Emperor of Mankind.
Yeah.
So he'll be preoccupied with that for a while.
Yeah. He'll be popping in when he has the chance to, which I assume will be not in the next month or so, probably, considering he probably has his hands full. I did receive a very wholesome short video clip earlier of him watching the baby in the baby bed while also blasting Warhammer Orc lore videos on the TV. I mean, if he is the Emperor of Mankind to be, he has to be knowledgeable about his enemies from the get-go.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, one of the things we're thinking of introducing, which, starting with this episode, is we'll talk a little bit more about anime from now on.
Yeah.
And both you and me have had a pretty extensive history with anime, at least 15 years each, if not more. Counting Pokemon and Digimon, it's like, 20 years more? 23 years, something?
Yeah.
We're getting up there, and today we'll talk about some of our picks from the current season of anime, which can be a little bit tough to navigate. I gotta admit that I didn't have much expectations for it when I first read the lineup, but then after seeing a couple of first episodes, it's growing on me. I think this has potential.
Yeah, me too.
And so, I mean, there are some obvious ones here that, people don't really need to get recommended, I suppose, like, for example, Kimetsu no Yaiba and Mushoku Tensei and Komusho. These ones are, pretty famous.
Yeah.
But there are a couple of, so I guess we just steer away from them and go for some of the more hidden ones, so to speak. And why not start on a high note with Sakugan?
Yeah, this one is shaping up to be a gem, I think. Really reminiscent of Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann for those out there who've seen that.
Yeah. And I think that this one, it has a little bit more of dare I say, somber tone. It's a little bit more, forgive the pun, grounded approach thus far.
Well, we'll have to see, won't we?
Yeah, true. I mean, very true. It's very early. We've still only seen 2 episodes.
Yeah.
But what did you think so far?
I am, I kind of want to say I'm in love, because I missed something like this, kind of have that childish sense of adventure and naivety, but it's still a really fucked up world.
Yeah, it sure is.
I don't know if you wanna play the premise here.
Well, so the premise is that essentially people are living in these walled off colonies underground. And then you have, basically they're separated into, or people are in 2 different kinds of jobs. So you have workers that work on, mining and expanding the colonies and such. And then you have the markers, which essentially are adventurers and scavengers. So they try to map out more of the underground and more of the areas. And usually these missions are very dangerous because there are monsters and such and bandits everywhere. And then in the middle of that you have 2 protagonists, which is Gagumber and Memempu. And Gagumber is this harried old veteran, works as a miner, an excavator, and you can tell that this guy, he's been out there, you know. And then you have Memempu, which is a 9-year-old, I believe, girl, very spirited, but she's also extremely smart. But she has the emotional, development as a 9-year-old.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit older, I guess. And so he kind of adopted her, and she really wants to.
She's after that tower, right? She's dreaming of a tower.
Yeah, and so essentially she really wants to push for that, and she always tried to get chummy with the markers that are almost kind of seen as heroes to some extent.
Yeah.
So you have this combination of like a guy named Walsh, and then this chick named Lydia, I think.
Yeah, his daughter.
Yeah, right. She tries to, Lydia keeps promising Memempu that, I'll take you out there, we'll be a combo and all that. And Gagumber is reluctant because even though Memempu is really smart and has a passion to try and find out about this tower she dreams of and all that, he wants her to live the life of a 9-year-old. He doesn't want her to rush things and grow up too fast, despite her mental capacity. Shit hits the fan, and kaijus attack the colony. The markers get all fucked up, and shit gets real fast.
Yeah.
But instead of locking down and getting dispirited, Gagumber decides that, I'm gonna take you to where you want to go. I think that's the best thing to do, and I'll instead do my best to protect you along the way. And of course, it turns out he's an old super veteran marker that is really proficient at riding these small mechs that can excavate, but also are very nimble, have grappling hooks, and they can transform into cars, almost like road vehicles. And
I mean, they have drills, Steph.
Yes, it's kind of Gurren Lagann just with a transformer ability.
Yeah.
And I think a little bit less combat effective.
Yeah, probably. More like, I mean, using the terrain and stuff for combat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're essentially just using their expertise that they gained as workers and miners and plus his piloting skills and her brains to, like you said, use the environment to trap the kaijus and such. Mm-hmm. So very promising, very cozy intro.
Yeah,
I think as well, kind of jazzy. I like that. Very promising. I hope they keep this up. I hope they throw surprises our way, that it doesn't turn into some generic run-of-the-mill show. But so far, I'm very intrigued.
Yeah.
And then we have, should we go for Platinum End, maybe?
Yeah, sure.
Do you want to say the premise for Platinum End?
Yeah. So Platinum End, it's centered around a high school student. He's pretty sick of life. He has a pretty shitty background story.
Yeah.
We start off with him planning to take his life, and he gets saved by an angel. Turns out she's one of 13 angels who's sent to find each their human and have more or less a battle royale of 13 people to succeed God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as you do.
Yeah.
No pressure.
They, depending on what kind of rank the angel who you get attached to is, you get certain types of weapons, and you get wings. So, like, you get an arrow that it's more or less Cupid's arrow, and then the higher ranking angels give you a kill arrow.
Yeah, the white one. And the wings are almost the only means of evading the arrows, because they can fly faster than the arrow flies.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the wings, you're shit out of luck, because it's essentially homing Avada Kedavra kind of arrow. Or whether did it strike you that this show was a little bit different than you expected?
Well, there is a scene in the first episode which, depending on how spoilery you want to get, it is pretty macabre, I think. And
I think first episode we can go spoilers.
Yeah. So basically, his aunt and uncle has been they murdered his parents to get his parents' money.
Mm-hmm.
And they then took him in. I guess that was the kind of premise for getting their money, because they've been treating him like shit his entire life. And when he gets the red arrow, he shoots his aunt with it just to make her admit that they killed his parents.
Yeah.
And I think he kind of lets slip something along the lines that you guys should die for what you've done, and she just stabs herself in the neck with a knife.
Yeah. In front of the
Yeah.
uncle. Yeah. You know what? And the funny thing is, one of the things that really sold me on this show was that, so his angel companion, Nase, she's this really cutesy kind of, bubbly, cheerful kind of girl character, and you kind of think at first when I saw her and she saves him from jumping off that building and stuff, I thought, this kind of character we've seen a million times before. Yeah. But then she's like, why don't you use that arrow to manipulate your aunt? And I'm like, what? And then she turns out she's like the enabler of the century. She just, whatever he wants to do, she's like, yeah, you should fucking do it, man.
Yeah.
Like, she's just, she doesn't give two fucks. Or, well, she cares about him. It seems that she really wants him to succeed, but she doesn't really give a shit how.
Yeah,
he does.
She has zero moral compass.
Yeah, she just doesn't give a shit. She's like complete neutral. So, I mean, she praises him when he wants to do things that are morally right. And she's like, "Oh, you're so smart. Oh, you're so kind." You know, she's just like that. But she's also like, "Yeah, you should use that white arrow to kill that guy, or you should manipulate all the women you want." And or like, you know, when there's a scene where he wants to apply for a high school, and she's like, "I mean, why do you want to take that test? You can just use the red arrow to convince some higher up in the school to let you get in for free." Mm-hmm. It's just like, she gives zero fucks.
Yeah.
And that really sold me. I like that a lot. She's growing on me now.
Yeah, so I believe the angel that accompanies the winning like candidate gets to like chill besides God for eternity, so I guess that is pretty good for an angel. So I kind of see her like point of view. I guess if you're not human, you wouldn't have any kind of sense of morality.
No, I mean, to her that's so like just so trivial. Mm-hmm. when it's talk about becoming the next god, then I mean, getting into high school, that doesn't really matter the slightest.
No.
But yeah, so it's a kind of fun dynamic between the perspectives of the two.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to see some other candidates. So there's this one guy named Toma Rodriguez, who's like this super douchey D-list comedian that for some reason is chosen, and then he just instantaneously uses it to just shoot 5 famous idol girls and make them fall completely in love with him, and they have an orgy inside his gigantic limo.
Yeah.
It's just like, alright, so there you have the other end of the spectrum, like complete trash. And then suddenly this third contestant just comes in and just obliterates him, and he's wearing some kind of Ultraman superhero armor.
Yeah.
And of course that had to be it. If you get the ability of flight and shoot arrows that kill and all that, of course it's got to be a guy that want to be the superhero.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And what did you say his superhero name was?
Metro Poriman.
Exactly.
So, I think it is derived from a TV series in this universe. So it is like kind of a TV like show character that he took upon himself.
Yeah. Who's to say you wouldn't do it if you got those kind of powers?
I mean,
hard to say.
Honestly, in real life, the guy who extolled girls is probably what would happen.
I think you'd see a lot of that, yeah. Especially behind the scenes, for sure. Mm-hmm. That made me a little bit depressed. I think both of us were taken a little bit aback by the sudden appearance of that armor.
Yeah.
But it kind of looks like Tenya from Boku no Hero. Like Ingenium or Ingenium.
Yeah, just a bit more colorful.
Yeah, exactly. You also, during the opening, you actually get to see other candidates wearing similar armor.
Oh, I skipped
so
it.
Oh, you did? So I assume, but they were different colors as well. So I assume this will lead into something later.
Probably.
But anyway, so what did you think after seeing episode 2? Did you think it kept its momentum up?
Yeah, definitely. There was a long sequence with the Metropoliman. You kind of get to see how far you can take these powers. And with the speed of the wings, right? It looks like you're teleporting.
Yeah.
and such. I think it definitely kept its pace. The ending was really cool.
I'm looking forward to that because I got halfway through the episode before we started recording, so I'm looking forward to watching the rest of it now. So that's number 2. Oh, and actually, I mean, maybe quite a few of you knew this, but Platinum End is also created by the mangaka that made Death Note. So I assume that's also why you get a lot of these kind of moral and ethical dilemmas and situations. Similar to Death Note, it deals with what would happen if different humans just gained, like, a very crazy, powerful ability.
Yeah. I guess you haven't seen the person in the Metropolitan Man suit, right?
No.
No. So, pretty much is Light and L.
Ah, okay. I gotcha.
Just,
I kind of assume, I'm not surprised because, I mean, the voice and all that, it sounds like the typical guy they cast for these kind of, the ally of justice kind of character, Alright, so, the next one is one with the strangest name. No, it's not the strangest name. There are definitely some light novel adaptations out there that have way shittier names, but this one at least is the hardest to pronounce, kinda. So we have Tucked Up Destiny.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that op dot is some kind of musical terminology or something. I don't know, but tucked can both mean rhythm in Norwegian and German, I guess, like Germanic, some Germanic languages, and then destiny also refers to the female protagonist called Unmei, which means destiny in Japanese.
And tucked is the name of the male protagonist.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a clever little wordplay there. So do you want to do the premise on this one?
Sure. From what I've understood, some sort of black meteorite passed by Earth, I guess in like 2020 or like 2030, around there, and basically dropped a bunch of like alien monsters, which react to and hate sound, especially like beautiful music made by humans, right? Like they are drawn to it and want to destroy it, whatever is making this sound. So music is banned more or less, at least in the United States, which this is happening.
Yeah.
But there are, I guess, some sort of government called the Symphonium. And they've made, or I guess they control, pairs of people there, which is one conductor and one music art, which are kind of emotionless warriors fighting with music, directed by a conductor. And these pairs like fight off the monsters, basically. But it's not like following a great war or something. It's just it follows this pair on their journey to get to New York.
Yeah, Tucked in Destiny. Yeah. And Destiny's older sister.
Yeah, I can't remember her name, but she's normal.
Yeah, she's normal. Yeah, and Tucked is this, how to say, this guy who only lives for music, basically, and he's some kind of piano virtuoso.
Yeah.
He's really good at playing the piano, and during the first episode, he just kind of seems like the kind of guy that's very simple-minded. He only wants to play his piano, and he's kind of almost antisocial. And then, of course, you have Unmei, which is this girl that, is his peer, and she turns into this weapon, or like weaponized girl, and moves to she uses his life force to fight, and, he kind of conducts the battle, but they are not very in sync.
No.
But the battle sequences are amazing. And
yeah, definitely.
And then you get a little bit more insight as to why he's so obsessed with the piano and why he's kind of like antisocial and stuff with the second episode. Because you get more background and they made it more understandable.
Yeah.
And then I'm not going to go into spoilers why, but if they keep up this level of animation quality for the fight scenes, then this has potential to be quite a spectacular show. But there's been controversy surrounding it as well, since this was hyped up as a collaboration between Madhouse and Mappa, which are two of the really heavy hitters in the animation scene in Japan.
Yeah.
Madhouse having done stuff like One Punch Man season 1, which speaks volumes for itself, and then Mappa recently having done stuff like Jujutsu Kaisen, which also had some of the best shonen fight scenes in recent memory. And then first episode really delivered on that. It was everything I hoped it was gonna be. They really wowed me. But second episode, it got controversy because it had a noticeable step down in animation quality, and a lot of people were saying it was shit, and that Mappa outsourced it, and Madhouse wasn't involved with episode 2 and whatnot. Kinda agree to a certain extent. I noticed the difference, but I wonder if it's not a case of One Punch Man season 1 versus 2, where season 2 wasn't really poorly animated. It was just that the step down from season 1 that was like peak. It was really good. And then you have something that's decent, and then the gap between there is so big that it kind of amplifies the effect.
Yeah.
Because when I saw episode 2, I was like, I mean, yeah, it's different, but it's not shit by any means. If they do this for the quieter episodes and they step it back up for the action episodes, then that's fine, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing for me, because episode 2 doesn't need to have like super quality.
Yeah.
And if there is like, I have no idea what kind of budget and stuff animes have. I would probably not spend as much on an episode that has like no action or no draw except backstory.
Yeah. And it wasn't to the point where like Dragon Ball Super, where at times where in some scenes you could people standing in the background look like Minecraft characters. It wasn't like that. It wasn't anywhere near that, I felt. And
I mean,
so
have you seen the Naruto versus Pain fight?
Yeah, but not in recent time. It's been a while.
That is some of the worst animation ever.
Really?
Yeah, it's at least some of the scenes. It's horrible. I have no idea what happened there.
I mean, I haven't seen this for a very long time, so I don't remember.
And this was like, I saw it when it came out, so I wasn't very like picky, or I didn't notice stuff like this, but this was like bad.
Yeah. I think one of the first times I really noticed it was, remember when we watched the anime Toriko?
Yeah.
For those who don't remember, it's essentially a shonen battle anime, which is essentially kind of Hunter x Hunter meets Food Wars, yeah. Where it's like they power up by eating extremely super nutritious ingredients, and they have like these gourmet beasts inside them that makes them powerful. The more they eat, and they strive to find the ultimate ingredients.
Yeah.
And they fight ridiculous creatures and stuff.
They have gourmet cells in their body.
Yeah, that too. And that anime had some good stuff in it, but then there were a couple of episodes where some of the background characters, they looked so fucking bad. They looked like they were done in paint.
Yeah.
And it was so noticeable that we had to, I think it was you and me that watched it, and we had to pause it and look at it and laugh.
Yeah, probably.
It was pretty bad. So this isn't like that. It's not like that. But yeah, your mileage may vary. That's why this one is a careful recommendation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there any other that you would like to bring up?
I mean, we should probably touch on the one show that we were pretty hyped up for, both of us. The Deep Insanity, The Lost Child.
Oh.
Or Deep Mediocrity,
Yeah.
The Lost Plot. I don't know.
Yeah. Alright. So, I don't know if there's... I think the reason we got hyped for this is kind of specific to us. Because most sane people that saw this were probably thinking, oh, this looks kind of shit. But here's the thing, though. So, the synopsis reads like, madness and unawakening sleep, Randolph syndrome. And I'm like, huh, madness? Okay. And then Randolph? Okay. We have 2 keywords here. And then it's like, this new illness is slowly but steadily approaching humanity, caused by the huge underground world Asylum. Huh. That appeared in Antarctica. Huh. There are strange creatures different from the Earth and unknown resources. People bet their lives on the depth of the mysterious new world to get huge wealth, organizational plots, or their own ambitions. And here, a young man with a wish in his heart is trying to challenge the front of the asylum. Now look, the premise sounds kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Or it can be exciting. And then all the keywords that I specifically pointed out points to a possible very loose inspiration of H.P. Lovecraft's At the Mountains of Madness. And I was very excited when I saw that. I was like, oh, maybe this is a hidden gem. Maybe, I mean, I would kill for some Lovecraftian anime.
Yeah.
Very underrepresented, and I think that, you know, there's a lot of potential there. But it would have to be more dark horror, kind of like hopeless, you know.
It would have to be nothing like this at all.
Exactly.
It would have to be like Mid in Abyss. That sort of show, right?
Yeah, Made in Abyss, but with even more of a
fucked up dark undertone.
Yeah, like this. Yeah, kind of maybe even like similar to the vibes of from the beginning of Attack on Titan, maybe. You know, like these kind of despair-inducing plots. So I was kind of interested in this, and then I saw the trailer, and I was like, "What? You got star spawns with guns now?" And like I don't, or they look kind of like star spawns. I don't know. And it just looked like the most generic piece of shit I've ever seen in my life. With, you know, this run-of-the-mill, you know, characters running around with floating 3D effects around them that they summon and fight and blah blah blah. And then, you know, you have the typical main character who's like, "Boku wa hero ni naru," kind of bullshit. And I saw the first ep. I'm still gonna watch a couple more episodes to see if maybe it takes a turn. It could. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't watch any trailer. I just talked with you about it, and I read the synopsis, and I was like, shit, this might be right.
Yeah.
And I just jumped into the first episode, and I was like, no, what is this?
Yeah,
it's not so what bad. I signed up for at all.
Yeah, I know. It's. I did not like this. There have been a couple of other anime that does Lovecraftian, or close to Lovecraftian, way better. And one of them being what's that one called again? It's I'll talk about that problem in the next one, but it's about kind of it takes some inspiration from Beyond, where there are other dimensions layered upon each other, and then there are other creatures as well that live in those planes that they don't interact with us unless we gain the ability to see and acknowledge that they're there. And this anime is from like 2007 or 8, and it's a thriller. And it took a lot of inspiration from that, and that one I thought had some pretty good Lovecraftian vibes going.
Yeah.
So I'll talk about that one in the next one, because I don't even remember exactly what it was called right now, but it was quite the surprise. Anyway, this one is not a good surprise. This one was just a piece of shit, and it's a tie-in with a mobile game, and that kind of explains everything you need to know, I suppose. Why can't we have nice things? And
I don't know. So I haven't seen any more of the new shows. Is there anything more you wanna talk about?
Well, I know we said we weren't gonna touch on these, but I saw the first episode of Kimetsu no Yaiba.
Yeah.
And essentially what they're gonna do is, for the 7 first episodes, they're gonna adapt the Infinity Train movie with some added scenes and some expanded, you know, they just expand upon it. And because they have more time to tell the story now. And the first episode is all new, with the Flame Pillar Rengoku. He's, of course, Infinity Train is about him investigating this train where there's people have been disappearing, and of course they assume that it's demons. And Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inosuke, they tag along to help him out. And the first episode is essentially just like, before I fight the demon on the train, I fight the demon at the train station. And this one is all new, and it's, essentially just more Rengoku, because I think a lot of fans vibe with Rengoku, or I don't know if it's that, or if it's just that the studios are like, we really want to push this character because we really want you to like this character. Personally, out of the pillars, I find him to be alright. He's kind of like a try-hard Kamina from Tengen Toppa kind of character.
Yeah.
Very positive, and he kind of is like the Kamina type mentor to Tanjiro, as Kamina is to Simon in Gurren Lagann. But I don't know. He seems a little bit. He has cool powers and all, but he's a little bit more try-hard to me. I'm very much more looking forward to the arc that starts after with Uzui Tengen, the Sound Pillar, because he's one of my favorite characters from the manga. And I don't know, the first episode, to me, it just didn't add shit. It was just like, here's more Rengoku, enjoy.
Yeah.
It was okay. It was like serviceable. It was good animation and stuff, but it just didn't add anything.
No.
So yeah,
I don't know what their plan is for this, to be honest. I guess to push it to people who didn't get to see it in cinemas, like from other parts of the world. But
yeah, that's fine though. I think it's an okay decision.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Super did the same. They adapted the movies, but in Dragon Ball Super they adapted 2 movies back to back, which was a little bit more. Alright, now it's a lot of episodes that you have to kind of rewatch if you saw the movies.
Yeah.
But for this one, it's 7, so it's fine, And then, but I do think another thing I want to mention that I'm very excited about this season, or well, kind of this season, coming up soon, is the Jujutsu Kaisen Zero movie.
yeah.
We're both pretty much fanboys of Jujutsu Kaisen. I think, for me, Jujutsu Kaisen is... I enjoyed it way more than I enjoyed Demon Slayer.
Yeah, so did I.
And, yeah, I think Jujutsu Kaisen had a lot of things going for it that made it seem like the right step of development for the shonen genre, because the pacing is something different. I really love that. It has kind of like the action-y pacing of Black Clover, but it has also it very masterfully weaves in necessary storytelling in there without it feeling exposition-y or without it losing momentum.
Yeah, that was kind of my point as well, because me discovering Black Clover for like, how about 2 years ago, it was kind of a fresh breath, right? A bit better pacing for most shonens, and kind of seamlessly action all the way. And this is just where it like ends up, right, with shonen evolving.
I just hope that this will be the trend going forwards. And Jujutsu Kaisen had so many cool characters as well, and I think they did strong female characters very, very, very right.
Yeah.
And I love that. Nothing in your face, no pushing agendas. They're just naturally strong and badass by their own merits, and I love it. But Jujutsu Kaisen Zero is a prequel taking place around a year before, when the second years of the Jujutsu Kaisen anime are first years. And it kind of centers around this student called Yuta Okotsu, who, by very tragic means, ends up having this demon attached to him called Rika, which is a special class super demon that is attached, that loves him, and he can channel the power of this demon into fighting, and he becomes like a special grade sorcerer almost immediately. Very cool character, very cool story that is relatively short. The manga is 4 chapters or something, 4 like extended chapters, so you can read it in one sitting easily. And I think it's perfect for a movie as well. And of course, this character does really tie into the story, and you get to see more. It fills in more background for you know, more about the dynamic between the second years, you know, like Maki and Toge and Panda and those, and then you also get to see more background of Gojo and one of the main antagonists, Geto. And it didn't feel like filler at all. It felt like a very, very cool addition to the story, and I really, really look forward to this movie.
Probably will be great.
I hope so. I hope that if this one comes to our hometown, we gotta see it, because Infinity Train, I didn't even know that was airing here.
No, it was airing during the pandemic.
Right.
I guess either for lack of movies, or they actually recognized that like manga and anime is getting pretty widespread now among the youth.
Yeah.
We also had screenings of Akira and stuff during the sci-fi festival here now.
Yeah, I saw. I was like, whoa, okay. Because, funny thing. So, my mom is taking care of this kid through her job, and then they were asking me for some recommendations for a kids movie to go to the cinema to see. And she was like, yeah, this one looks kind of cool. And she showed me the poster of Akira, and I'm like, no. You do not do that one. Trust me, you're gonna traumatize the kid and yourself. But instead, they also showed Ghibli movies. So I recommended them watching Totoro, because the kid is quite small. So My Neighbor Totoro is a lot more fitting for an 8-year-old than Akira, I think.
You know what?
Yeah.
In primary school, we actually went to see Spirited Away.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In Norwegian, though. I believe it was dubbed in Norwegian.
Damn.
Yeah, because it was called Chihiro og Heksene. So Chihiro and the Witches.
Yes.
I do not think we were old enough to watch that movie, to be honest. It has some pretty scary moments. Like,
some disturbing shit in there.
like the parents turning to pigs and stuff.
Yeah. And the what's the name of the thing with the mask?
Shinigami? I think he's just a Shinigami.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen this movie in a while. I don't think I've seen this one since late primary school, probably.
I saw it a couple of years ago, and it is so fucking good.
Right. I need to rewatch it, because I remember watching it back then, but I didn't understand that much of it, or like I guess I didn't appreciate it because I wasn't used to that kind of movie.
I think like if you're an avid anime watcher, right, and every time you sit down and watch a Ghibli movie, you just realize, wow, like normal anime is so shitty, like animated.
Yeah. I totally get you. I mean, Ghibli has some. I think when I really realized that Ghibli, is something to be treasured, was when I saw. This was like a few years later. I think I was 14 or something, and I was really coming up on that manga and anime phase, really getting into it. And my friend, he had Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind or something, and that one has a lot of action and war scenes, and like there's a lot of it. It goes places, but it's also, at first glance, it kind of seems to be not kids movie, but like shonen with some cool fantasy sci-fi elements to it and stuff. But it really surprised me. It had a lot of cool shit in it, and that's when I really realized that this Ghibli has a lot of the stuff going for it.
Yeah.
And if there's any parents out there that do not know much about Ghibli, do not show your kid Grave of the Fireflies.
No.
You should watch it though.
Yeah.
The parents, I mean. But hell, that movie is so rough. And after I actually went to the War Museum in Hiroshima and got to see, the things, that was a very heavy experience that I highly recommend. But seeing that and also having seen Grave of the Fireflies, man, that's some very heavy viewing.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Is there anything else?
I mean, other than recommending everyone to see Studio Ghibli movies, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Just like parents and stuff, research which of them you can watch with your kids and watch the other ones alone.
Yeah.
You'll probably cry and laugh just as much as your kid.
I think so, yeah. They are not to be underestimated, the emotional impact they can have. But yeah, so I guess we can round it off there. We're thinking of trying to do more anime themed episodes from now on. We'll still do, of course, gaming and movies as well.
Yeah.
So we'll try to keep a balance of the three, and I think going forwards would also do probably video or like episodes on animes that have more personal meaning to us and why we recommend it, and hidden gems, these kind of things. So if you like that kind of content, if you're interested in that, please let us know. If you don't like it, then yeah, also let us know.
Well, you should definitely look forward to my 150 episode One Piece series.
Yeah. I think I'll stop you by the time you get to how to groom your mustache like Whitebeard.
Yeah.
Alright, well, I think that's it for this episode.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening, and as always, stay humid.
Hey, Dank.